78%. That's the retention rate of the average recurring donor in the nonprofit sector, according to our recently released recurring giving report. This is significant. According to a recent article in the Chronicle of Philanthropy, both Blackbaud and the much larger data set from the Fundraising Effectiveness Project found a decrease in dollars and donors in 2023. But the article does go on to cite the bright spot that is recurring giving. When we set out to put this report together, my colleague Abby Jarvis and I knew that these sector-wide reports were likely to bring some gloomy news. Yet, previous exploration of the topic that we did around the beginning of the pandemic with the University of Texas at Dallas found that recurring giving is a pretty fantastic way that any size nonprofit can make change happen. However, I want to break down why I think recurring giving itself is a powerful way that a nonprofit can build their community of generosity. As we've covered in a previous episode, new donor retention rates in the nonprofit sector is pretty abysmal. At best, about only 2 out of 10 donors continue to give to a nonprofit after their initial gift. We also have the continued prioritization of affluence over affinity in our sector. Last month, I touched on this, but the newest Fundraising Effectiveness Project data continues to indicate that we're seeing a straining point of over-reliance of donors giving over $5,000 annually. Now, whether you think that rich people are the cause of all of the sector's problems, or if you feel that they need someone to defend them, the reality is that no matter what, that segment is beginning to reevaluate their view of the sector as a whole. And yet, if we look at the history of philanthropy, some of the most powerful paradigm shifts were not because of high net worth individuals, but because of a groundswell of people who've chosen to spread their good in incremental ways. Now, our own client base at Neon One showcased this in exemplary ways. One of the best parts of the report that I'm proud of is when we spotlight 4 different nonprofits and the insights and thoughts from their leaders in order to educate the broader nonprofit community. That's the Megan I referred to in that video you saw. It is all well and good for a technology company to put things out like this, but the reality is that your voice is much more important, and you don't want to hear from me when it comes to what success looks like. You want to know that success is attainable for somebody like you. And that's why I'm so proud we're able to celebrate and uplift the stories of IPH, Turner Syndrome Society of the US, Queer Women of Color Media Arts Project, and Alzheimer's San Diego. Recurring giving represents an individual's ongoing commitment toward a cause that they believe in. In our research that spanned over 2,100 nonprofits over a period of 5 years, as well as insights from over 100,000 recurring givers themselves, we looked at a lot of different things. Now, I'd love to spend a few minutes drawing out what we found in the report. But before we begin, I'd love to start with a question to get those comments continuing to go. What do you think the time of the year that most recurring givers initiated their gift? So I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to see what comments that we have. I'll also check the old phone here for my own side so I can kind of see the live stream for some of those LinkedIn ones. Want to know where people think, oh, yep, Karen won the Lego set. See, we give the prizes out, folks. Those are real. Some have a recurring giving program. Oh, we got Jennifer. Awesome. People sponsor Birds and Rescue Monthly. So, all right, let's see if anybody's got any. Summer for us, end of the year, November or May, Michelle. I'll go with the easiest, obvious one. Jennifer Creedy says end of the year, tax time, which is around April. Here is the fun fact. The answer is May. May. And that points to something very interesting that I invite you to unpack yourselves. What is it that is so different about recurring giving? Now, I'm going to share some stats from our report, but during this segment, I'd love for you to share in the comments what you think is different about this type of program versus other things that a nonprofit can do to engage their community of generosity. I've seen Jennifer talking about this a lot on LinkedIn, for instance, recently. And if you haven't already jumped into the comments today, remember, one person who comments will win the AFP prize pack. including a $937 donation to a nonprofit of their choice. And yes, if it is your nonprofit, of course, that is where it can go. Now, here's some data points. The average nonprofit's recurring donor base grew 127%. Individual recurring givers gave $949 and change each year. The average monthly recurring donation was about $79.10. In fact, the $937 is the average of the small nonprofits, which is a little bit lower at $78. The highest recurring monthly gift monthly is $51,000 and a little bit more than that. And the average recurring donor lifetime was just over 8 years. 8 years. Now let's check the comments. This is an action-packed episode. We got a lot of great guests. But let's see what's going on. Again, I want to make sure that I can see things. Thank you. I see we got the few folks on the YouTube side. I see things happening over here on the LinkedIn. And the thing is that especially we have the Papayo Rescue House, apologies if I said that name wrong, but it's comments like that show why I think people are going to stick around for nearly a decade on average for a recurring giving commitment. You have a bunch of people who've been talking about why people give. And I think that's what is more powerful than the monetary benchmarking are the insights that we're able to glean by analyzing around 13,000 donor notes that were provided at the time of the recurring gift. When we followed the responsible and beneficial framework of fundraising AI, we designed a textual analysis of the emotional sentiment of those donors. And what I want to stress here is the real research that validates the ideas driving the psychology of generosity. These are not people who are trying to set up a technologically efficient way for them to donate. People were not talking about how easy it was or how pretty the form was when they were making the gift. They were also not asking to be treated as the hero of the story. What people were talking about was the very nature of humanity itself, the kindness and the goodness and the hope and the inspiration that was there through every beautiful, multifaceted aspect of humanity that touched on ability and race and gender and socioeconomic class and religion. It touched on our humanity itself. That is why I believe in recurring giving. And that is why I believe that the 78% retention rate of recurring givers is just the beginning. So let's get into it.
Thanks for watching Neon One on YouTube. Subscribe to keep up with all our upcoming videos, and check out another video right here.